are back for another episode. Back with the OCP Organized Chaos Podcast. Clap it up for me. Clap it up for yourself. Air horns as well. Thank you guys for joining me again. For everyone that's listening, audio, YouTube. Thank you for joining me. So wild week, wild stuff going on, a lot going on. Um, this episode, I don't know. This episode will be very interesting. This is the episode that I've shied away from doing for a while, and I didn't plan on doing this episode and for a while, because um, me personally, when I decided to do this thing, um, I want I wanted to do this thing on my own merits, my own visions, my own personality, my own everything. And reason why I'm saying it that way is because I do put this up on YouTube as well, and it's certain things that you can do, certain cheat codes that you can do that can bring yourself a bunch of views and get eyes on you so easily and stuff like that. And I choose not to do that. Either I'm going to make it on my own, or I'm not going to make it at all. I do the same thing with my clothing line. It's a lot of cheat codes you can use to get yourself out there, to get yourself popping, and do the trendy stuff like everybody else is doing. It's just certain things. Me and my daughter talk about it all the time. It's like that's not my integrity. That's not my bag to do certain things that a lot of people are doing. Just because everybody is doing that, I don't want to do that because that's not the integrity of my brand and my vision, and it just don't feel right for me, if that makes sense. So, like I said, with this pod, um, I got a lot of influence, and I got the vision, and I got the motivation and everything under the sun from this person, but I didn't want to do this episode, especially not like this. But I didn't want to do this episode. I was going to do it at some point, but I didn't want to do this episode this quick and um, into me doing podcasts and stuff like that. Um, but I'll get to that later. I just wanted to give a background on this podcast, but I just want to start it. I at least want to start out with some things positive, and you know I don't want to be on like such a somber note and things like that. I want to start out with positive things or whatever, and I really wanted to talk about my daughter. And I don't get excited about a lot of things. Most people that know me know that, and but I get excited about her, and a lot of times they don't come out visually, but internally I'm I'd be so excited for her and excited for the things that she does and continue to do, and I'm so proud of her. Um, so we did go to the, I told you guys about going to New York. She won the scholarship. She was able to meet Virgil Abloh's wife, and did all these different fashion things because she won the scholarship, and just met a lot of different people or whatever, right? So um, this week, um, Tiffany and Co. reached out to her and wanted to interview her for an internship. And she was so excited, but bummed out at the same time because it's in New York. So she's like, everything I want to do, whatever. And then, my daughter lives in Atlanta. Everything I want to do is either in LA or New York or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So she had her interview. She had her initial interview. That went real well. and she was excited or whatever, and so they set up a second interview for her, and she spoke with the person that would directly uh, be with or whatever, and she had that interview, and she texted me as soon as it was finished and everything else, and um, told me what they talked about, and you know told me about the guy. The guy just came from he came from Louis Vuitton, and he worked with Virgil and everything else. So he's there. Basically, Tiffany is trying to rebrand, and they're trying to bring Tiffany modern, because Tiffany has always been the same, and so all these brands are trying to get new, and like Burberry got new logo and everything else, bringing it modern. So they trying to do that with Tiffany's, and that's what he kind of want her to help with, especially because she does graphics and saying different things like that. So they're just trying to get fresh faces and things like that. So she's so excited or whatever, and it will cause her to have to go to New York, um, to Tiffany & Co. headquarters in New York, and so she'll have to live there for 2 months, and she'll probably end up staying on NYU campus. They rent out their dorms during the summer months or whatever, and it is expensive for 2 months. And they, roommate with a lot of people, whatever. But more than likely, I'm gonna end up having to pay for that, and I mean, it is what it is. But she's so excited. I said, I asked her, I said, "Gee, what's going to happen with your full time with your job? You remember your job at Nordstrom? She can give two shits about Nordstrom right now, because she on cloud 9 because of that pay internship or whatever. Like, oh, she going, no matter what, she going. So I wanted to give a shout out to her, and to let her know I'm super proud of her, and she's super excited. And it's so crazy because I was telling one of my coworkers, it's like, I said, with my daughter, she had took this one picture a long time ago. I think she was maybe about 12, something like that. And when I saw the picture, um, I was in dad mode, and I was like, damn, I don't know if I like that picture. But I got out of dad mode and looked at it from a totally different lens, and then I was like, she's going to be something. I don't know what, but she's going to be something. Just seeing that picture, it made me look at her totally different, as far as, okay, my daughter can go places and be something. So I have to figure out a way to capture that, and cultivate that within her, and help her see whatever it is that's in there, and bring it out. And yeah, she's flourishing. I mean, I talked to her about, when she was young, talked to her about business, and finding out what she really likes and what she really enjoys. And I would tell her, whatever you want to do, I'm fully in support of you. I am totally 100% in support of you, and whatever you want to do, you just got to make sure it's what you want to do, and I'm 100% behind you. And she doing it. I can't even, she doing it. And I love her for it. I'm, 100% behind her, and you know, that's my everything right there. You know, I love my baby. You know, and so I just wanted to, share that with the people, share that with her if she's listening. Your father's super proud of you. Even though I tell you, I always tell you I love you, or whatever. But I'm super proud. I'm telling the world I'm super proud of you, and I'm always going to be proud of you, no matter what. But yeah. Just wanted to at least start off with some good, some positive, some lighthearted stuff. Um, but now we just got to go into some real stuff, the big stuff that's going on in the world now, and the biggest thing, and what I started the pod off with talking about is the man Kevin Samuels. Um, before I do that, let me start with this clip. I played part of this clip on the last episode. I'm gonna play the full clip. I want to start with this, and then we can go right into it. But I want you to hear this clip, and then I'll tell you who it is, and I'll tell you what that person is about. Listen to this. Before I go any further, let me address some comments because I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of whenever I have to have a direct moment with a woman. Kendra, you're being insensitive. You're making people feel low. Don't watch my show. If that's how you feel, do not watch it. Because when I have a man up here, there's nothing but women. Actually, let me talk about this. I have a guy on my Facebook page right now who's in a jacuzzi. And there are so many women in the comments saying he's gay, he's this, he's a sissy, he's giving me feminine vibes. You women don't have any problems expressing yourself when it's something negative to a male. But let a woman come up here and we have to have a real talk moment. All of a sudden, I don't like this show because I feel low. You don't like this show because your ass don't want to take direct criticism. And you know what? That's why your ass is going to be watching me as long as I do the show. And you ain't going to get a man because you're not strong enough to woman up and maybe realize there's some shit you got to get together. Okay? So I'm really done with the sensitive women that watch the show that are always complaining when I got to give a woman real talk. And I do it in the most sensitive way as possible, if you guys ever notice. It's exhausting. It really is. So I don't want you to watch my show no more. If you feel as though I'm making someone feel low, this show ain't for you. Go do something else with your Saturday night, with your Friday night, with your life. Because I'm over it. Especially when women are literally more mean than the men on my show. Go to the comments on my page. It is 80% women saying the negative things. I'm over that shit. So if you guys can dish it, learn how to take it. And it's that simple. I'm not going to sit up here walking on eggshells, talking to women when they got crazy shit happening in their lives because you guys are so freaking sensitive. Woman up. Maybe it's time for you to do something in your life and kind of get your shit together. Have you ever thought of that? Absolutely, there's men up here that got crazy shit going on. I talk to them every night. But guess what? Y'all in that same pool at times, but y'all don't want to admit it. So I'm over it. So if you feel as though I'm insensitive, I'm mean, and you can't handle it, my show ain't for you, boo. Go somewhere else. I'm over it. I really am. Every single time. So, I mean, we can just keep lying and just saying, oh, you know what? That sounds good. And then what's going to happen? Ain't no change going to happen. Because when I do stuff, it really comes from a good place. Whether you understand that or not, I'm telling you this from a good place. I'm not a mean-hearted person. I really am not. But you have to give truth if you want to get results. If we keep beating around the bush, saying the same old bullshit, you're not going to get nowhere. And it's because everybody just trying to be too kind. But y'all not even kind. That's what gets me. Y'all not even kind. Y'all are the meanest people in the comment section to these men on my show. But all of a sudden, when we got to talk to a woman, child, Kendra, me, I don't like watching the show. She too insensitive. Well, guess what, bitch? Don't watch it. It ain't for you. And now that problem is solved. Because I'm going to be who I am. So that's going to be clear. And I ain't forcing you to be here. So if you can't handle it, my show ain't for you. Next. So you heard that. That was a lady. That was Kendra G. She runs a show on YouTube or whatever. A lot of women go over there and listen to it. And Kendra G is a lady who had plenty of smoke for Kevin Samuels. And I played that clip simply because the people that have smoke for Kevin Samuels and what he do and how he do, you see what she just said? You see how you see did you hear what she said and really took in what she said? And I've watched some of her stuff. Her tone, which people always say they don't like his tone or whatever. Her tone is always calm, nice, whatever. Doesn't matter about the tone. It doesn't matter about the tone. Our women don't want to hear anything. They don't want anybody to tell them anything. So it's not about it's not about it wasn't about Kevin's tone. It wasn't about none of that. It's just the fact that, like they say, hit dogs holler. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But I just wanted people to hear a woman say what she was saying. A woman that vehemently had smoke for Kevin Samuels and what he do and how he did it or whatever, this and another, and black woman is different, this and that and other. But this just happened maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, as far as her saying this. So it's one of those things. It's like you, like she said, you get tired. You get tired of just tiptoeing and dancing around real issues and real shit. So you have to get real at some point. So starting with Kevin Samuels. So when I was introduced to Kevin Samuels, it was way before he got real big. I started watching Kevin Samuels. He had about 60,000 followers on YouTube. And I don't even know how. I was working overseas, and it popped up on my YouTube feed somehow. And I had nothing but time, so I just started watching a video. And the first video I started watching was a fucking 4-hour video. And most people were looking like, I ain't watching no goddamn 4-hour video. But I did. I watched a 4-hour video. And in that 4 hours, he may have talked to maybe about 6 people or so. Maybe more. But the reason why I kept watching is because it was very interesting. I never saw anybody talking, having this dialogue with women and just having this dialogue. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, who is he? And so I'm watching, and I was just interested, and I'm just listening to the conversations. And I was like, damn, this is some real shit, right? And then what he's saying back and forth to the lady is some real shit. And so, and this is when he would let the reason why these things would be super long. He would let the woman just speak, and a lot of times if you notice, you got a lot of women that when they speak, it's just so long. So you have to interrupt them and be like, just get to the meat and potatoes of what you're saying. Just get to the facts, and give me the short version, because some people, they'll just go all over the place. So, and when you have a show, you're trying to reel everything in. So when people say, oh, he cuts people off, this and that, you have to do that, because if you let somebody talk, they just ramble on and on and on and on. And it's like, it doesn't make for a good show. So, I was so intrigued, and the show ended off so brilliantly. Kevin he got fed up at one point, and he just lost it. And from what I was reading in the comments, it was like that was unheard of for him, because it was one lady. He talked to this lady for about an hour. And it's almost like she wasted his time, because throughout the whole thing, she was talking all this crap about she entertaining all these men, and should she be entertaining these men that make all this basically she was saying that she was going to be making like $500,000, $500,000, or whatever, this and other, and she got men proposing to her, whatever, this and other, and should I be entertaining or should I be focused more on my career, whatever, this and other. So Kevin, in his mind, is thinking she's entertaining these quote unquote high value men that she's talking about. So at the end, Kevin was like, well, the man that you're talking about that you're entertaining or whatever, does he make $500,000? And she was like, no. Kevin said, well, how much do we make? She said 50,000. Kevin said, bitch, you made me. he said, bitch, you had me on this all this damn time, and you dealing with a motherfucker that's making them $50,000. You talking about all this money? He lost it, and I lost it too because I was laughing so hard. I had to watch that interaction maybe about 10 times straight because I was so lost as well. He talked to her for an hour, and she was talking about a dude that made like $50,000, but she was talking about like he made like $500,000, and it's like it was so crazy. So I watched more and more and more because I wanted to get a good understanding of who this person was that I'm looking at and listening to. What's so funny is my coworker at the time, shout out to him. I shared the information with him, and the first thing he did was look at the negative things that people were saying about him. Like, you had other people that was hating on him, and that's the first thing he went to, and then he didn't listen to him any after that. And I'm like, that's a you see the difference in how people think, and this is not bashing him or whatever, it's just a difference of philosophies. It's like I went back and started researching him. He went to straight negative of what the negative things people say, and I don't go off the negative things that people say because you don't know their motives of why they saying it. And a lot of times people start saying negative things about you because you're getting more following or you're getting more traction than they are, and they've been doing whatever they doing for however long they doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go that way because you don't know why they saying these things about this person. And then some of the stuff they're saying is like, oh, who is he? And blah, 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 blah. He wasn't selling anything. He wasn't selling anything. He was just straight talking to people. Those other people that were talking about him, they were selling stuff. They were selling stuff. So it's like, I got to take the shine off of him so you can come back over to this platform and listen to me and buy whatever I'm selling, But that was the difference. I went back and started watching things. And so he used to review colognes and talk to men and do a lot of different things. His channel was up for a long time. And you know what I'm saying? His channel was there, and nobody definitely wasn't listening to him when he was talking to men and telling them what to do and talking to them in the same harsh tones. And so the more I listened to him, and the more videos I watch of him, I'm very perceptive of people because I study people. That's all I do. I just look at people and I see how they operate and stuff like that. And the great thing about that, you can spot somebody who is real with that as well. That man was very perceptive when you speaking to somebody. And I do that too. When you speaking to somebody, you know when somebody's giving you bullshit. You know when somebody's leaving out something in the conversation. You know when it's holes in the conversation. And he was very good at that. But people don't understand that because a lot of times people they don't have a brain that functions that way. It's just I hear what I hear and then I react off that and whatever. But they're not able to compartmentalize that information so quickly and come up with a conclusion right there on the spot. Sometimes people got to go back and think about it or whatever this and other. But you got other people that can't do that, and I do that well with people and situations, and so you recognize that with people, and that's what Kevin was good at. You talk to people, you get a clear understanding of what's going on. You can tell when somebody's BSing you and stuff like that. So he was good at that. So I got fond of Kevin, and then I listened to a lot of stuff, and I was like, damn, this dude. I don't agree 100%. I don't agree 100% what anybody says. But if you're saying more stuff that I agree with than not, then I can rock with you. I can listen to the stuff that I don't agree with, but that don't mean I gotta hate you or anything like that. It's just it don't pertain to me. It don't resonate with me. But I'm still gonna listen. A lot of people can't do that. If they hear one thing they don't like or whatever this and another, then it's like I'm not hitting you. I'm not listening to you. And then you got the naysayers who are like, well, who was he? Well, who was Steve Harvey? Who was Oprah? Who was all these people that give their opinions and stuff that people listen to, but because they cater to you, they're more qualified. And hell, we listen to our friends. You can listen to your friend that work at Walmart and give you advice, but it's cool. But because this guy's giving other people advice, and it's like, who is he? Well, who is your friend? You listen to them. They ain't got no degrees. They ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? This and never. It just amazes me when people don't really agree with somebody, then you got to throw their credentials and this and that and other out the window. It's amazing to me. But um, so yeah, for me, Kevin, he taught me a lot, and I started listening to some other YouTubers like mediocre tutorials and reviews and different things. Like you learn a lot from other people. And as men, we have a hard time, or we clown other men who, um, they may not have a father growing up in their life, and they, have to learn. What's funny to me and our community is we always saying we need black mentors, we need more black men mentors, and different things like that. But as soon as somebody use somebody as a mentor or use the things that people say, and if they don't rock with that person, they'll clown them for it. I don't see the difference. If I had somebody come around, or I went somewhere and I got a mentor or whatever, what's the difference of that guy telling me stuff and I'm learning something from a guy that's sitting on my screen that's telling me how to do something or give me advice or whatever? I don't. What's the difference? Like people don't really look at the nuances of that stuff when they say things like that. Oh, you're using this person as your daddy or whatever, blah 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 blah, and this and that. But then they'll say, oh, we need more male mentors, we need more male role models and stuff like that. But when you have somebody, just because you don't agree with him, that don't mean he's not a role model in somebody's life, some way, or shape, or form. You tell entertainers they're role models. You tell basketball players they're role models and stuff like that. So what is the difference? There is no difference. It's just the fact that you don't like them, and that's how things go. You just don't like them. You don't like that person, so he can't be a role model. He can't do this and another. But I learned a lot of things. Like I grew up, I didn't have no father. I didn't have nobody. My brother wasn't there. He didn't live with me most of the time. So I didn't have a lot of male influence that say, hey, you do this, you do that. This is you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm getting my own places. A lot of times I got furniture handed down to me. I didn't know how to set up a place like that or decorate a place and do know certain things and this and that and other. But listening to Kevin, he would say, "Hey man, when you got he was telling young men 22, whatever this and that, when they get their place, hey, you need to have this in your house. Um, yeah, women they like hard liquor and stuff like that, but more importantly, women love wine. You need to have a red and a white wine always in your refrigerator. In case whenever you bring a woman over. I didn't ever think about that. I never, what I'm saying? You just don't, it's just certain things you don't think about, you know? In every bathroom, you should have flushable wipes, whatever, blah, 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 this and another. I never thought of that. You know what I'm saying? Just certain things, candle, I will always have candles and stuff like that. I learned that from, women and different things like that. It's just certain things that a person is telling you that you never thought about. Because us men, we can live in some place, have a couch and a TV, and we good. That's just how we operate. But if you want a woman to feel comfortable, these are the things you need to do to make her feel comfortable, and this and that and other. And I would think women would appreciate that. But you can't get past that. You can't get past what he's saying to women because you're not really paying attention. You never went back and saw what he was telling men. That I don't care what you're talking about. You need. Why would a woman want you if you sitting around, you lazy, you broke, and everything else? You need to get up off your ass and work 60 hours a week minimum, and make it happen. Be able to pay bills. Be able to take women out. Be able to do this. He said all this stuff to men unapologetically. Why would a woman want you when you're on your ass, not doing anything, not contributing, not saying, taking care of your family, stuff like that? These are all the things he said to men. But soon as he started talking to women, it's a problem. It became a problem. But guess who was calling the show? Women. Women all were calling the show. And they were giving advice. Now, was some of the stuff harsh or whatever, this and another? Yes. But I would challenge any person to go live every single night of the week for 2 to 4 hours and talk to different people and not lose it every now and then. And not, make a mistake. Not, saying, because you're talking to a live person. This is not scripted. This is not rehearsed. You're talking to a loud person. You got people that come in with an attitude. You got people coming in trying to, make a scene or whatever, this and other. You got people that can't even have a back and forth on the internet without getting in their feelings, or even when you come in with something small, just because you disagree with them, they just go off. They go crazy. But you talking about a man who talked to people for 2 to 4 hours every single night and have the utmost patience to actually talk to these people and give them advice. Yes, you will snap every now and then. Yes, you will say something that people don't like. You will, people don't realize that and don't understand that, but you want people to be so perfect. When your interactions online is not perfect, let somebody disagree with you and you're going off. People can't have a back and forth anymore. Everything is an argument. But this man talked to so many different people every night. Every single night. Let that sink in. Every single night. Think about if you could do that. Half of us don't even like talking to our friends like that, let alone talking to strangers every single night about their problems and what they going through and this and another. And you got people coming on basically wanting to create a moment and coming in with attitudes and coming in doing whatever they want to do. And you have to sit there and deal with that. So, yeah, you leave yourself open to scrutiny, but the message is always lost. That guy doesn't have a choice of what goes viral and what doesn't. Because let me tell you, I looked at a lot of the videos, and he was so compassionate to so many black women, and those videos don't go viral. Some of these dialogues he had with women and telling them, hey, man, it is enough. Talk to your mom. Talk to your dad. Go to therapy, whatever, this and another. Those videos, those are not salacious, so that doesn't go viral. People don't want that. That don't bring clicks in. So if you mad at that man because you can't do your due diligence, or you won't have the patience to sit through an hour worth of content or something like that, even though you'll sit through an hour worth of ratchetness of housewives and all this other different stuff, then to really get a context of what a person is about, that's your fault. That's your fault that you can't do the research. You just hear a clip and say, I don't like that guy because of blah, 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 blah. Well, did you actually really listen to him? Did you do research? Did you see what he was about? Because what he was about was always clear. He was always about getting families together. He's about men and women having realistic expectations of their life and the person they want to be with. Why do you want to be with that girl that's a 10? Because there's headaches that come with that. So because as soon as you get with her, you realize you don't want to be with her. So lower your expectations. With women, Just because you're telling a woman a lower expectation, that don't mean you selling it. No, it's just putting yourself in a position where you're more happier than you actually think you're going to be. I don't get that. Telling people to get healthy and lose weight. He told men that, he told women that, but you can't tell women that, which is crazy. You know, um, he's telling people to go to therapy. His whole thing was about getting black women and black men together. Somehow they get lost because people don't like him. They overlook that. He get mad when women would shit on the average man that makes like $50,000 or so, and because women to make them feel like they ain't nothing. All the women that came on that show talked about the average man like they were trash. They don't want them. I can't be with them. So is he wrong or they wrong? Is he was shame he was shamed for saying or for people putting on him that he hate black women when all black women came on that show and shitted on black men, the average black man. So who's wrong in that equation? Because if you go back and listen to every single person that came on that show, the average black man that make $50,000, $60,000, they wasn't good enough. So why are they not ridiculed just as much as that man who's only asking questions? Why are they ridiculed as hard? Because they have standards. Oh, I don't need to lower my standards. I don't need to settle. But you just shitted on 85% of the men out there. So I don't get it. Like I said, that guy, you love him or hate him, he fulfilled his purpose in a very short period of time. 2 years he got popular. 2 years he went from 60,000 subscribers to 1.4 million subscribers. Plenty of people, women, thanked him, saving their marriage, helping their relationships, helping their marriages. That gets overlooked. Plenty of people got together because of him. Plenty of people checked themselves because of him. Plenty of dudes got themselves together because of him. Now, you got some dudes out there that I don't know. I don't know what type of stuff they be on. But yeah, they project a lot of stuff and they, but that's a minority. Women always focus on a minority of things, and that's not the majority. The majority of men just go about their daily lives and want to be with a black woman or want to be with a woman and just go about their lives. They don't project all that stuff on you. But the thing about Kevin, and he always said it, I'm only relaying the messages. I'm only relaying the talks that men have been having for years, which is true. Because a lot of stuff Kevin was saying, I've been telling my women friends and stuff like that for years. I've been living by a lot of this stuff for years. So it's nothing new that he was saying. And he said it. I'm only a vessel for them. He was like, none of this stuff is about me. None of it is about me. It's about black men being appreciated, black men having some type of platform and some type of voice in media, because we don't. Name one black show, male show, that doesn't cater to women or pander to women, that's for men, by men, and we can talk open and honestly. You can't name it because it don't exist. You had one man with one podcast and he got vilified for it. But you got all these shows with women who bash men, especially black men, all day long, and it's celebrated and it's cool. But you got one man on a podcast who do lives, and it's a problem. It's crazy. I don't understand it. That black men are not represented, and he was trying to get black men to be represented well and have a voice in the world, and that was his vision. But he wanted both black men and women to get together, but he wanted black men to have a voice in the world, because we're always shut down. It's like, you got to shut up. You can't say anything. You can't have any standards. You can't say nothing. You just got to just shut up and exist. And he wanted to bring that to the forefront of men having a voice and having standards and being able to express their standards and stuff like that, just like women do. But he was vilified for it. And it's like, oh, your tone and this and never. Monique, she tried to say stuff with the proper tone. She got shut down. Don't matter about your tone. You know, Shahrazad Ali, I can't pronounce her name for the life of me, but she wrote a book 30 years ago talking the same stuff that Kevin taught. She was vilified for it. That's a Muslim black woman. You know, she was saying the same things. And you know who was opposed to her back when she was on TV shows, back like Donahue and all that other stuff? Ayanna Van Zant was in the audience and was just vilifying her for the stuff she was saying in her books and stuff like that. And you know, to this day now, Ayanna Van Zant is like, black women are out of order and out of line. So now she's on the same side as the sister she was vilifying back in the day, because it's a problem. Everybody notices it's a problem, but we can't say anything about it. That's what I said. Women can't say nothing about it. Men can't say nothing about it. So it wasn't about Kevin Samuels and, oh, he hate black women. It's just the fact that they didn't want to, that sector of people did not want to hear anything he had to say. They didn't want to take accountability for the things they were doing. You had problems before Kevin Samuels. They had those problems before Kevin Samuels ever even came into this, you know, into popularity. So do you blame him for the problems you had before 2020? Because you had him before 2020. So who did you blame then for all the problems you have, and why men like this, and why men projecting these things on you, and why you can't keep a man, or why you can't this, or why men can't keep women, or whatever, this and other, and why you ain't successful with women and stuff like that? Who was the problem then? Because Kevin wasn't doing anything back then. He wasn't popular. So people, men and women, can't blame Kevin Samuels for their problems. He's just a man that shed light on it, because these problems existed before him. That's what people don't understand. Like, that man didn't do, he just shed light on problems. He didn't create your problems. You created your problems on your own. He was trying to make you see what your problems were and how are you going to correct them. Because a lot of times people don't really see how they act until they see other people and be like, well, Dag, I did do that. Because you had a bunch of women be like, damn, is that how I am? Because they listened to other women talk when they called in. They listened to some of their stories and and you know, this is the overarching theme of Kevin Samuels. This is why Kevin was so, his show was so needed. And this is going longer than what I thought, because I had one other topic. I had some other stuff to talk to, but I knew this was going to be kind of long. I don't know how long this is going to be, but the most important thing that I think Kevin shed a light on, and I don't know if people catch it or caught it or whatever, but this is what I came away with. The importance of his platform was, it showed that all these men out here ain't garbage. All these men didn't wreck these relationships like women say they did. All this stuff, you know, you hear women say, well, this man was toxic, or this man did this. They make up all this shit. But when you hear the stories and you hear what they did, you hear how they left a man that was trying to do everything possible for them, and they thought that they was better than that man, or they thought that they can get better than that man, and they left that man, and he was trying to do everything possible to make it work with that person, or trying to be what he needed to be for that person. They still left him. It shows that it wasn't the man's fault. Most of the time in these instances that these women get on the show, it just showed that it wasn't those men's fault. If you go back to most of these times that Kevin talked to people, you'll realize that. So when you hear your girlfriends and stuff like that sitting there complaining to you about a man and this and that and other, sometimes just take a step back and just be like, well, what the hell you do? How was you acting? What didn't you do? You know, because a lot of times the man don't have no voice. We got to just sit back and take it. Oh, he was a piece of shit, this and that. Okay. I was. All right. I just got to move on. But rarely are they going to say what they did. And all Kevin did was ask the important questions, the straightforward questions, and say, Well, what did you do? Well, why didn't you do this? Or what, blah, 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 blah. And he don't let him wiggle out of it. Stick to the facts. Just stick to the facts. What did you do? What didn't you do? Why did this happen? This, and that, and other. And you can't wiggle out of that. And a lot of times when it came down to the nitty gritty, even women in the comment section, because he always had about 15,000 people in the live chats or whatever, most of the women be like, it was her, it was her, it was her. So if you got women in the chat saying that it wasn't a man's fault, it was her. So think about all these relationships. Think about all this stuff that takes place, and it's always the man's fault. It's always this and that and other. But when that person go to someone other dude, it still doesn't work. So it's like, is it the man's fault or is it you? And I take myself accountability for that as well. Like, yeah, some things I could have did, I might have did wrong, terribly wrong, or this and that and other. You know, everybody got to take an inventory of themselves, but you can't always make yourself a victim. But like I said, the overarching theme was that, damn, all these women came on this show, and the first thing they said, he was toxic, he was verbally abusive, he was this, and the more they started talking, all those things were knocked down. All that stuff was not true. She was a toxic person. She was a verbally abusive person. She was a person in the wrong, because they all have the same playbook. They all would say the same thing. Oh, he was toxic. Oh, we was just too young. Or we was this and another. The too young and this and another. You can't always use that. You can use that sometimes. It's applicable sometimes, but you can't always use that. But yeah, that was the overarching theme, and the main point of the show, if people didn't really pay attention to that. And if you ever go back, if people ever get a chance to just go back and watch a lot of the live shows and watch a lot of the interactions and stuff like that, think about what a man is receiving with a lot of these women, and just try to understand how you try to put yourself in their shoes and see how you would deal with that person. And just think about all this stuff, and think about yourself, and think about how you project onto people, and what you project onto people and stuff like that. It's just a learning thing. It's a eye-opening experience when you see other people talk, and you see them talk about their relationships and what they did and why they did it and stuff like that. And you're like, damn, you did that? You had a man that was doing this, blah, 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 and you left and this and ever. Think about that. And like I said, all Kevin did was ask questions or whatever. And the reason why he did the ranking system, yeah, it might have been harsh, but it's like, if you got a person that's saying, I want a guy making $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 or whatever this and another, now I gotta really see what you are, because the things that women think are important, the things that women think value, men don't value, and that's the biggest issue. One of the biggest issues. What women value and what men value are two different things. Men don't. I mean, I care as a woman, and yeah, you can have your degree. I care that you educated or whatever this and another. You can have a good job. Kid, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. You got a great job. You got this and another. But how much money you make and all this other stuff, it don't matter to me, because you looking for me to make X amount of money. So, and you ain't spending that money on me. So why would I go out and just specifically seek a woman that got all this stuff? Because it's not coming to me. So I don't value it as much. I value other things. I value, how do you look? How do you treat me? How do you know what I'm saying? This and that. That's what I value. But for some reason, women think that men value other things. But if you got a woman that wants a man and making all this money, and a lot of men ain't making that type of money, $200,000, $300,000 and this and that and other. So it's like, okay, now I gotta really dig in and help you see why that is almost impossible for you to get that man. I got to help you see that. So I'm going to tell you What do you think? I'm going to ask you, what do you think you look like? And how do you rank yourself? Now I got to humble you and say, this is what I think you look like. Or this is what the world is telling you you look like, because you've never met a man that make that type of money. You never got a man that make that type of money. You don't have those outcomes of what you say you look like. And it's yeah, you can get a man to have sex with you, but can you keep him? Have you ever had a man that had that type of money that want to marry you and this and that and other? Like, no, you don't. So you don't have those outcomes to say you a 10. Every woman ain't a 10. You know, you got to be real with yourself. But somehow he was wrong with that. You want a man that make this type of money when only 1% of men make this type of money, and you swear you deserve that, but you're this. That's crazy to me. It's like a man saying, I want a dime. Well, why do you want a dime? How can you get a dime? Do you make this type of money to get a dime? Do you do this? Like, you ask a man that as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like it goes both ways. It's like unrealistic expectations. And so that's why he acts. It's like to put you back into reality. And a lot of people don't live in reality. And the more you get back in reality, the more you can accept this person is good for me. This person, I can be happy with this. Just because you get somebody to make a lot of money don't mean you're going to be happy. That's facts. Just because you got somebody that you think you want don't mean you're going to be happy. And that's what a lot of people, men and women, just because you think you're going to be happy with that person don't mean you're going to be happy with that person. They might have this fantasy person. They might be this fantasy person in your head, but realistically, they not the person. You know, you're not going to be happy with them. So, you know, but like I said, that was the overarching theme of his show. His show was very much needed, and he helped a lot of dudes get on. I mean, you know, shit, hell, so many people has made so much money off of Kevin Samuels. And like I said, I refused to do that because I wanted to make it on my own. You know, I don't make no reaction. I do reaction videos on YouTube. I didn't want to do no reaction video on Kevin Samuels because everybody do it. Some people just sit there and let his clips play, and you know, they get all these views, 20,000, 30,000 views and stuff like that just because they have a Kevin Samuels video. That's not me. If I'm going to make it on my own, I'm not going to make it at all. But I do enjoy I did enjoy the brother. I still enjoy his content. I go back. I haven't watched him I haven't watched him in a long time because I've been so focused on trying to get my stuff together. What he motivated me to do, get my stuff together, get focused on what my vision and what I want or whatever for myself and what I want to do or whatever. And, just make it happen. So I didn't watch his videos no more like that because for the most part, I got all the information I needed from him. You know, now when some videos come up, I might watch or whatever, this and other, but for the most part, I started being more focused on what I wanted to do or whatever. But I just felt that guy was super necessary in the culture. No matter if you agree with it or not, if you go back and you seriously watch to understand, you will feel the same way as well. If you go back to some of the old shows and really pay attention to what he was saying to people and really digest what he's saying. Like I said, you're not going to agree with everything you say. I didn't agree with everything you say. But if you take the meat of what he was saying or trying to convey to the person, you will get it. You will really get it. And I just implore everybody to do that. And it's sad that women and men celebrating his death and, you know, things like that. Oh, I don't care how healthy you are. You can die of something. Don't care how healthy you are. You can die of something. And everybody's going to die of something. That's the wild part that people don't understand. Like, you celebrating this man, oh, he died alone and he this and another, and he telling women to lose weight and this and another and try to be healthy. Yes, you tell people try to be healthy and be the healthy versions of themselves. That don't mean that they're going to live forever. I mean, you stupid if you think that. You know, that don't mean you're going to live forever. That just means try to be healthy enough to stay around. But that man, he fought cancer. He had cancer when he was 19. I think he had cancer twice. So he fought cancer when he was 19. You think he don't have no health problems? Like, really taking account of that. This man fought cancer, lymphoma cancer, when he was 19. So you don't think he have residual problems from that? And people that suffer from that can suffer heart attacks, you know, later in life or whatever. You know, like, people don't really think, people don't think, for one, they don't know. They don't know about the person, so they know that. They don't know he had cancer. He fought cancer before. They don't know anything about that. But like I said, you know, like, it's sad. Out. Like, people are sad to celebrate. Talking about he hate black women. That's why I'm saying this and never. But when white women come on his show, he checked them. He ain't let nobody talk about black women. He checked white women just like he checked black women. But he would never let a white woman talk about black women ever. So I don't even get that. People don't see that. You know, he was all about black women, but he just checked you, because a lot of those women that he checked came on the show with none but serious attitude. So he gave it when it came to him. But people don't see that. They only see a clip, but they don't see a person coming on and having an attitude the whole time, and the stuff they did, you know, when they came on or whatever, this and another. And he could have not said some things, whatever, this and another, but that's in hindsight. When you've been talking to people for 4 or 5 hours, you get irritated. You'll get irritated. People come into work irritated. You know, the first person to say something to, they already irritated. But you was irritated from something else. So you don't think that man could be irritated after 4 hours of talking to somebody or whatever? Like, think about that for a second. When you talk about a person, oh, he should have did this, or he could have did this and another. That man been talking to people for like 2 hours. And, you know, you got so many people coming in and just going crazy or whatever. And he will always have sessions where people can come in if they disagree with him or didn't agree with some of the stuff he say or whatever, this and another, and they ask him, he'll ask them why you disagree with me or why you think this and another, and they never have facts to back it up. It was always opinions. Well, you said blah 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 blah. He's like, well, when did I say it? Tell me the show I said it. Tell me exactly what I said. Well, I don't know. Well, how can you come in and say you have a problem when you don't even know what was said? And that happened all the time. If you have a problem with somebody, come in with facts and say, you said this at this specific time on this show or whatever, blah, 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 and I have a problem with that. But like I said, most times people don't deal with facts. They just deal with hearsay and what they thought they heard or what they, you know what I'm saying, this and another. And it's like, if you can't come with facts, don't come in. Opinions are opinions or assumptions. Opinions or assumptions. Come with the facts. You said I said this. Tell me when I said it. Because one thing about Kevin, he remember all his shows. He remember people that came on the show before. He remember all the shows because he can go back and scroll through a show and play a clip and like, I didn't say this. This is what I said. That's the crazy part about it. You got a person that come on the show and mad at something that they think he said, and they can't tell him when he said it, but he can go specifically to that show and be like, this is what I said. That's crazy. That is crazy to me that somebody will have an accusation but can't back it up. But this man who do hundreds of shows can go to exactly the show that you talking about and pull up the clip. That's crazy to me. That shows a special person, yo. Special person can do that, especially when you doing a bunch of shows and you can go right back to the specific show that person claim they talking about and pull up the facts of what you actually said, but they can't even do that, and they have a problem with something that they think you said. That takes a special, that takes a brilliant and a special person. I don't think people understand that. But I don't know, man. I like I said, I appreciated that brother. Appreciate the help he gave to me without even knowing it. You know, it's crazy. That was very sudden, but I appreciate everything he has done for black people, even though people don't think it. He's done a lot in a 2-year span, and people will get it. Maybe they'll get it, maybe they won't at some point. But rest in peace to him. You know, I didn't think I would go that long talking about him, but yeah. I had a whole other things I want to talk about. I only want to talk about one more thing, and I needed to talk about this one. Um, really needed to talk about this one because this one was hit home to me. Things like this always hit home, but I don't know, for some reason this girl, um Alana, I don't know her last name, but she was a cheerleader at Southern University, and she self transitioned, um and she wrote this IG note or whatever, and the thing she was saying just hit so close to home. Whenever I hear somebody self transition, it always hits me because I've been in that space before. Um, I know of people who've been in that space as well, and you feel for that person. You understand certain things, or whatever. But just some of the stuff she was saying in there, um, it kind of hit closer to home as well because you just I felt her. I felt her, and I always say, I had a important conversation with my daughter one time, and I guess I just keep it real and just be sharing. I think me and my daughter was watching 13 Reasons Why one time, and that show was controversial, talk about self transitioning and stuff like that, and after we finished that whole series, I had an important conversation with my daughter, and I told her, I said, because she didn't understand some of the stuff, and I had to break some stuff down to her. Um, I said, well, I said, you never know what a person is really thinking about. You never know why a person would do what they did. You don't even know what the trigger point was. You don't know what was the final straw. You just don't know, because it could be something small, but it was so many other things that just piled on. It was just that one last thing that's just like was the determining factor or whatever. I was like, so you never know. You don't know. You don't know how that feel. I said, trust me. I said, let me get real with you for a second. I said, you are the reason why I'm here. I said, and that's being totally real with you. You are the reason why I'm here. I said, because if you wasn't here, I don't know if I would be here. I probably wouldn't. I said, just the stuff I've dealt with, and the stuff I go through, and still go through, and mentally and stuff like that. I said, but you are the main reason I am here. Um, and she just looked at me or whatever, and I told her, I said, you don't understand. I said, because I, do everything possible to make your life as good as it could be, you know. Um, and I said, so me personally, whether I should or shouldn't, but I've succumbed a long time ago to the fact that this life ain't about me, and it's not about me anymore. I thought about that some years ago. I was like, it's not about me no more. It's all about my daughter. My happiness, whether I'm gonna be happy or not, I don't know. Who knows? But I haven't been. I said, but my mission is to make sure you're happy, make sure your life is not what my life has been, make sure you succeed in everything you want, you are happy in everything you're doing, make sure you don't have to go through any of the feelings or any of the things that I went through. And that's what I strive to. Everything I do with my business and stuff like that, it's all basically for her. It's not even for me. It's not even for me. Everything I do is it's all for her. And that's, like I said, it's right or wrong. That's just what my thought process is or whatever. It's all for her. I get my enjoyment out of her seeing her happy and be happy. I get out my enjoyment out of seeing my youngest niece just smile, and this, and my godson just be happy and stuff like that, because it's all about kids being happy, kids growing up and just living a natural happy life. That's all I care about. And that's pretty much my mission, because it ain't about me. It's I've given up on that, like, as far as me being happy with stuff, because I'm gonna be dealing with stuff for the rest of my the rest of my life, and having this huge anxiety and different things like that. That's stuff I'm gonna have to deal with, so to make my life happy is to make them happy, and see them happy and see them grow up and see them just be whatever they're going to be and have a natural childhood and a happy childhood and things like that. So that's, but that young lady, and I had a talk with one of my homegirls, and, she has thoughts on, people do that. She feels a little bit selfish, and like I said, it could be or whatever, but people live selfishly now, while they living. They don't really think about it when they say certain things. Well, you live selfishly as well. Everybody lives selfishly some form of fashion or whatever, this and another, but yeah, it's selfish when a person self transitions and stuff like that. But it's like you don't really know the anguish and what it takes for that person to just get up every day and put on a smile or put on a happy face, or you don't know what it takes because you're not in that person's shoes. To be in that person's shoes and have those feelings and have this or that emptiness or whatever, this and another, that's a feeling, boy. That is a feeling, and everybody don't experience that. So when you don't experience that, it's hard for you to fathom that. It's hard for you to fathom that, and but it's sad, it's sad that she did, what she did, but you read what she said, and it's like she couldn't take it no more, you know and it's sad. She was so young, like, she was young, but it just, that one hit home. It had me feeling some type of way for a day or two, because it's like, damn, like, I don't know, just put me in it put me in a mood. But I wanted to talk about it because it's important. You don't know, you like, you have strong friends, you have people that think that they're good or whatever, this and and all this other stuff, and you don't know what they go through. I mean, my dad told me one time, like, "Oh, I don't worry about you because I know you're good." You don't know if I'm good. Do you ever ask me if I'm good? You never ask me how I'm doing, or whatever, this and another. You don't. So you just assume I'm good, and you don't call me, you don't talk to me, you don't reach out, you don't do nothing. You haven't been doing nothing for 43 years. It's like, but you're gonna say you don't talk to me or you don't check up on me because you know that I'm good. How do you know that I'm good? It's crazy to me, and that's the type of stuff people say to you when you're they deem you as so strong and this and that. Yeah, you go about your business and you handle your business because you have to take care of yourself because nobody else is going to take care of you or whatever, this and that. But that don't mean you're good. That don't mean you don't have problems. That don't mean you don't go through stuff. That don't mean you don't want nobody to check up on you and see how you're doing and show you that love or whatever, this and that. We got to get out of that, because you don't know what you're going through. Then when it's too late, it's like, well, why did they tell me? Well, why do I need to tell you that? Why don't you just check on me? Why don't you just ask instead of assuming? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, But I just implore everybody to just continue to love on your friends and check on your friends, your family members, all that stuff. Like, be in a moment, you know, be in a moment, because these two things, you just don't know. You never know. Um, didn't want this to be a sad pod, but you know, sometimes you got to be real. This is probably my realest pod. Um, yeah, it's probably my realest pod, but I'm a leave it at that. Let all that simmer, let all that marinate. Um, yeah, I was fretting doing this pod because, like I said, it's a lot of things that's real, and but we gotta be real with ourselves, and we gotta do self inventories and self checks and stuff, self reflections or whatever, and just take a step back sometimes, and not react to things. Take a step back and really dissect the situation or the information you're receiving, and things like that, and make an informed decision, because you can tell people comprehension has gone to an all-time low. People can't comprehend a lot of things anymore. The comprehension skills has left the building with so many people, because it's so microwave. They can't fully process things because they're not used to processing things, because things coming so quick. Take a step back. Told my daughter this a long time ago. When you hear some things, just take a step back and really think about what's being said and what's being presented in front of you. Then you can get a good understanding of what you're actually dealing with. And people don't do that. Everything is at face value. I gotta react now. I gotta have some feelings now, some emotions now, and it's not the best way to operate. It's not the best way to roll. You know, um, you gotta operate in thought instead of emotions. Emotions will leave you wrong all the time, and that's what most people. That's what we all living in now, in emotions. Anything that happens, we reacting with emotions, and um, we got to get out of that, because it's just not healthy. It's not good, So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Um, man, I appreciate this talk. Appreciate being able to get these thoughts and opinions and feelings out, and just venting and things like that, And my motto, like always, get your head up, get your weight up, not your hate up. Congratulate people on their wins, on their successes. Um, if they succeeding right now, it's their time. It's not your time. Your time will come. I'm gonna keep on stressing that. I'm cool with where I'm at. I see other people, doing things or whatever, this and that. I'm successful myself, you know. But am I totally where I want to be? No, but I'm very successful. Um, but I know my other things are coming, So I just congratulate other people on what they doing, and I just keep it pushing, So like I said, congratulate people, and keep it moving. And with that, I want to thank you all for your time. That's all my time. To the next time, we are out of here.